is my distinct pleasure now to introduce Chris Donaldson. He is the VP at Western Copper and Gold. Chris, how are you doing this morning? Thanks for joining us.
Hi guys, thanks, and good morning from Canada here, and for those of you in Germany, good afternoon. I'm Chris Donaldson, Director of Corporate Development for Western Copper and Gold. I'm going to give you a very high-level overview of the company and our project, which is the casino project, which is located up in the Yukon, which is northern Western Canada. It's what you see up on the screen there. In fact, I think that may be a picture of Kai. He was up on site last summer. He's been up there at least once or twice. We always like to kind of point out this screen here, and people think northern Canada, that certainly it's cold, but it's actually semi-arid, and it's not as mountainous as you may think. It's above the tree line, gentle rolling hills. General forward-looking statements here, guys. If you're ever going to make an investment, please read this beforehand. So a little bit about the company. We trade on two exchanges, the Toronto Stock Exchange and the NYSE American, both under the symbol WRN. We've got about $6 million in the bank right now. Our share price is around $1.60, Canadian. We've got about 120 million shares out there, which gives us a market cap of about $180 million Canadian. Where the share is held, we've got management board have about 12%. The majority of that is held with our chairman, Dale Corman, a large percentage also with a new director of ours, which is Michael Vitton. And it's kind of a unique structure. We have a group what we call private high net worth investors. That's about almost 50% of the shares. Who are they? It's about 8 people who have been investing with Dale for decades now, and have done very, very well. So I would say 6 of them are individual people, and then you've got a couple of portfolio managers who have squirreled a little bit of shares in Western in their clients' portfolio. Very sticky shares, have been very supportive over the years. We've got some institution as well, about 10%. We haven't done very large financings in a number of years, so we haven't had a lot of institutions given the chance to come in quite yet, but that number certainly is starting to grow. There is a royalty on the project. We've got 2.75% NSR, and that's held with Cisco Gold royalties. So it says the casino story is taking off here. I mean, we have a very solid deposit. We've been around for over a decade now. The deposit is fairly well defined. It's a significant copper and gold deposit. We did a feasibility study on it in 2013, which has showed great economics all throughout the cycle, which I'll get into in a bit. We're in a jurisdiction that we love, and the Yukon, obviously with the gold rush, and 100 odd years ago, has a miner on the license plate. But for us, what's important is that they permit and are able to support mines. The Eagle mine, Victoria Gold, went through that process and is in their first year of production right now. Very successful story there. Alexco silver play is just going back into productions. And then important for us is the Minto mine, which has been producing for a number of years, which is a small copper mine, but it's in the same jurisdiction that we are proposing to operate in as well. As mentioned, it's already a pretty well-defined project, but we did have some exploration success. So we were drilling last year, and we're continuing to follow up on that as we speak. We discovered a new gold zone and an additional copper gold porphyry next to the project as well. We also acquired claims to the west of us, just in between us and the Coffee project, which is owned by Newmont, and we're doing a little bit of drilling on that as well. And importantly, what we have ahead of us is fairly well defined. I mentioned we're drilling right now. There's three rigs that are turning. We will get those results in the fall, and then look to update our feasibility study, because it's a bit dated. Our last one was done in 2013, and then get back into the final stages of permitting. So I mentioned the project was big. There's a lots of copper there and lots of gold. The top line is the M&I resources there, the reserves. So almost 15 million ounces of gold and 7.5 billion pounds of copper. If you add in the inferred, which is the numbers below, we've got 21 million ounces of gold. Let that sink in. 21 million ounces of gold. That's significant. We also have 11 billion pounds of copper. And how does it play out? Well, today it's about 50-50 in terms of projected revenue. We're a little bit more on the gold side right now, just because gold has gone on such a run. People are asking me all the time, we should change our name to Western Gold and Copper. But it is generally about a 50-50 split between the two minerals. And that's unique. So the project itself, there are very, very few projects out there on the copper side of any significant size. We kind of scoured what we could find that are on the TSX, the projects that are still controlled by juniors, and we listed all of them. And the reality is, the majority of them are not going to have an impact on the copper price. Simply the economics don't add up on them. They've got environmental challenges or other challenges. And there are really only 2 or 3 of these projects, in our opinion, that will even make it through and become mines in this cycle. And certainly Casino is at the top of that. And then you flip it to the gold side. I mean, this is a significant gold project. It's in fact, we're within, just on the gold content, the top 10 largest projects that are still controlled by juniors. So talk a little bit about the project here, and that's our camp, and which will be the site of the proposed mill at some point. At the bottom line, the idea of mining companies is to make money. Our economics are stellar, and this was actually done at $1,800 gold and $2.90 copper, so the numbers would be even better. Net present value, almost $4 billion Canadian, IRR over 30%, and a payback of 2 years or likely less right now with updated numbers. So very, very strong economics. Everybody's getting all excited about, how high is gold going to go? And if you look on the right there, at the top of the last cycle, we were at 5 billion net present value in US dollars. And if we see higher numbers, obviously the sky's the limit on that. But importantly, and what others and majors look at is what happens on other points of the cycle. And for us, I update this deck every month with new prices, and through this whole cycle, which has had some challenging times, we've been above a 15% hurdle mark. In fact, at $2 copper and $1,000 gold, we were still over 15% IRR. So, a few reasons for that. One is the grade early on. We have a higher grade initially on a copper equivalent basis. It's about 0.7% copper. Life of mine, it's about 0.5. We also have a lot of gold coming out in the first 4 years, almost 400,000 ounces of just gold being produced in the first 4 years, which really helped the project. The secret sauce, I'd say, on the project, and which is key to a lot of these, large, typically low-grade porphyries, is the strip ratio, and that's the amount of waste you have to mine for ton of ore. And at 0.59 to 1 life of mine, I think we are it's best in class on that. I'd like to note also we just updated our resource. And that strip ratio is likely to come down as well, because we converted a bunch of material that was formerly considered waste into mineable resource. We don't normally talk about the board of directors, but I've been putting this slide in lately because we've had, I'll call it a refresh of the board. Dale Corman, who at the top, not refreshed. He's been with the company since the inception here. He's our largest individual shareholder. His big win was project not too dissimilar to Casino, and that was Penasquito. He had it within the company called Western Silver, where he got it permitted, drilled it out, lined up some financing, and then they were bought out by Glamis Gold for $1.6 billion. And the Gold Corp took over Glamis a couple of months later. So he's been very successful in the industry, and he's brought in a couple of new people recently. Mike Vuitton, Tara Christie, and Ken Williamson have all come in with the last year. Michael Vuitton is our latest addition, and he's a former executive mining director, head of U.S. equity sales at the Bank of Montreal, and he originated over $200 billion worth of financings or M&As. So significant addition for us, and he's now a significant shareholder as well. At the bottom, you've got Ken Williamson, former banker, and on the board of Tahoe and Gold Corp and Quadra. We're really, I wouldn't say the mindset has changed much, but we're certainly becoming a lot more aggressive in how we're moving forward with our drilling, and then moving towards updating the resource and updating the feasibility, and then getting back into that final stage of permitting. So I talked a little bit about our exploration success. So last year, we actually were just planning on doing some infill drilling, and we had some pleasant surprises, and we're following up on that again this year. And there's three real main areas that we're following up on. The first surprise was a high-grade gold intercept, and that's the one you see in the middle there, 55 grams per ton over 3 meters. And if you hit that once, it's quite anomalous on that, but we've hit it a few times, and then we're able to identify a trend there of kind of a higher grade gold zone. It's a different system within the porphyry as well. So I'd say about half of our efforts this year are going towards trying to drill that out, see what kind of structure is there. Second is up in the north of the pit, and this is an area that we thought mineralization was ending, where in fact it started to thicken. And turns out it wasn't the end of our deposit, but we nicked an additional porphyry to the north. So very excited about that. We don't really know how big it is, so we're quite a bit of our efforts this year are going to identify that as well. And the third area is what's happening to the west. So these are the Canadian Creek claims. This is the property that we purchased last year. You see our deposit in the green there. There's really two areas that we're going to tap into this year. One, which is the Anna target, which is again another porphyry target, has all the markings of what Casino used to have as well. The second area is the Casino B claims, which are some higher grade gold zones as well. So we're going to put some holes into that area as well. And the most important thing about building mine, how's my time here, Kai? 1 minute? Okay, most important thing about building mine, we've been up there 14 years, so we've got good relations with all of the First Nations and so forth. We have a government road that's coming into the area. In fact, there are 2 roads, and I just want to talk a little bit about the area. It's becoming a district, an emerging district. Casino obviously is the largest in that area. You've got 2 government-supported roads coming in, and there's a number of majors playing around in the area. You got Newmont and Agnico having some good success with white gold, and then Agnico and Kinross and white gold, and then you've got Newmont, who owns the Coffee Project as well. So this year it's exciting. We'll get some drill results out in the fall, and then look to update our feasibility. Stock-wise, we have a room to run if you put us compared to our peers. I'm going to stick around for some questions. Also happy to chat with you directly anytime. Quick information that's on there, I'm sure Kai, you could pass along as well. So if you're a copper bull or a gold bull, you got exposure to both. You're 2 for 1. Thank you.